Hi, I'm Ben from Dataspace, and this is SQL, Does Your Candidate Know It? 2 questions in 3 minutes. With just 2 questions, I can get a pretty good sense of whether my candidate is an SQL guru or a pretender. Now, these are not complex questions, but they also aren't things you'll learn on day 1 in an SQL class. And yes, the correct answer is vital, but confidence and passion are also key. Look for things like, does the candidate seem to guess at the answer, or does it easily roll off the tongue? Do they follow the answer up with interesting related facts? In other words, do they do this stuff, or do they love this stuff? I'm looking for the person who loves this stuff. Here are the 2 questions I use to get a sense of whether a candidate knows SQL. Question 1. What is a union query, and how does it differ from a join? A join and a union are both ways to extract data from 2 tables. For example, here we have a customer table and an employee table. A join figures out the relationship between the records in those 2 tables and gives you the data from them side by side, each row showing related records. See how the database tells us that the employee jury and the customer jury are related? The important thing here is that the results are side by side. Here's our raw data again. Let's combine this data using a union command. Notice that the union doesn't really indicate anything about how the records are related, and the records are not side by side. They're stacked on top of each other. Notice also that the union does one more thing. It eliminates duplicate records. If it didn't do this, there would be 2 records for jury, because he's both an employee and a customer. If you want your union to return duplicates like that, you'd use a special form of the union called a union all. In fact, what is the difference between a union and a union all actually makes an interesting follow-up question to the union versus join question. Question 2. What is a having clause, and how is it different from a where clause? You rarely want to see all the data in a database table. Instead, you usually just want a small subset, like just one customer or just the products in one warehouse. To get just the data you need, SQL provides a tool used in almost every query called a where clause. The where clause limits the data that is returned by the query. With it, you can tell the database to return, for example, only records where the customer is in California, or only records where the product purchased was blue. The where clause filters the data that a query will consider. Here's some sales data. And here's that same sales data filtered just to sales in California. I did this using a where clause. It's great to be able to filter data, but frequently, especially when you're doing data analysis, you don't want to see the detailed data. What you really want are summaries or aggregates, like counts of the number of customers or sums of total sales. SQL provides various tools for providing all that too. Here's that sales data summarized by state. But now here's a conundrum. How do you tell SQL to filter the summaries, not the raw data? For example, how do you ask SQL to calculate total sales for each state, but only return results for those states with sales greater than $1,000? This is where the having clause comes in. You use having to tell SQL to return only those summaries with the qualities you want. Here's that same sales data summed by state, but only for states with sales over $1,000. I built this using a having clause. Thus, the question I ask candidates is, what is a having clause and how does it differ from a where clause? The right answer is that the where clause filters raw data and the having clause filters summarized data. There is a ton more information on our website at dataspace.com, including a download on this same topic. Thanks for your time. We'll catch up again soon with another set of data science recruiting tips in 3 minutes.